So today we're going to talk about source evaluation, and I'm going to show you how to distinguish between a credible source and a non-credible source, particularly those internet sources that are made to trick you into thinking they're credible sources when in fact they are not credible. So why is it important to learn how to distinguish between a credible source and a non-credible source? Well, first of all, it's very important for research, something particularly important for students. Poor sources can delegitimize an argument, whereas a credible source will lend credence to your argument and substantiate your claims. Students often run into problems when conducting research by doing general internet searches on their research topics, because there is no filtration system in place to separate legitimate sources from illegitimate sources. To begin, let's define exactly what a credible source is. A credible source is a medium that puts forth information which is current, accurate, and trustworthy. Examples include scholarly journals, such as the Journal of Politics, or respected news organizations, such as NPR or PBS, or any entity of that nature. So what makes a source credible? Well, a source's credibility depends on a few things, such as the author's expertise or long-term experience in a particular area, such as military defense. A source must also be written in an objective manner for it to be considered credible. Here's an example of a credible source. The author's name is easily accessible. There's a link to experts on this particular topic, and a copy of the full report is provided. These are all telltale signs of a legitimate source. Clicking on the expert link, we find the author of our study. Here we can see her title, affiliation, and credentials. She's a research associate at Pew Research Center and has a master's degree in public policy from the University of Chicago. Shifting focus, we're going to do a simple Google search on Martin Luther King. Doing so gets 119 million hits. The first two are not relevant, so we're going to use the third one, martinlutherking.org. Sounds pretty legitimate. The home page of our site looks pretty legitimate. It has a bio, an educational video, and a civil rights library, all links that would comprise any credible source on our topic. Clicking on the Truth About King link, we find a brief history of Dr. King. It reads like a legitimate source, and even cites an academic journal, as well as well-known news organizations, such as the New York Times. And it lists the author at the bottom of the page. When we go to the author's link, we find the group responsible for the website. Stormfront is a white supremacy organization whose agenda is clearly written at the bottom of the page. The group uses a website that looks credible to spread their biased message. This source is meant to trick you into thinking it is credible when it in fact isn't. Some warning signs about the source's legitimacy are evident in its efforts to conceal the organization behind the website. So the next time you do a Google search, be careful.
Created using Powtoon.